Hello friends, welcome to the third part of our Strapi tutorials. In this video, I will show you a step-by-step guide on how we can deploy a Strapi application on Heroku. But for us, in order to do so, we'll need to firstly configure our environment variables in our application and also create a free Heroku account. And the third one will be installing a Heroku Git locally. And in this step, we'll look at different areas. Like one, we'll see how to use Heroku Git repository to host our application on cloud. And the second will be how we can use GitHub repository together with Heroku. But firstly, we'll see how to install Heroku on our systems locally. Alright, that being said, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and like if you haven't already to help me grow this channel, and also for more tutorials like this one. Alright, let's now go into our project and see how we can set our environment variables. Now we are in our project right here. For us to be able to host our application on the server, we need to configure our application for production. Okay? Since right now we are working in development mode, and to do so, we can just go to config folder here. Then inside here, we can create a new folder called environments. And then inside here, we can create another folder and call it production. Okay. Then here, we can create a new file called server.js. So when we go into this default server.js class, we find that it has the default configuration for development. And here we have the host, which is this one, and the port we are running at 1003.37. And our app keys as follows. So for us to run this application in production, we will have to set also our production configuration like so. Okay. So for us here, we'll also export module. Export, and then we can specify our app keys. Okay, which will be env array. Then here we can put our different keys. To be able to get these keys, we can simply go into our env file, this one, environment, and then we can just copy these keys as follows. Alright, so if that is done, then we can still go back into our environment and copy our URL. Okay, we haven't generated our URL, so we'll first create an account with Heroku, then generate our environment URL. So our app key is this. Okay, so if that is done, then we can go and see how to create an account on Heroku. do so, we navigate to our browser right here, and then we type there Heroku. Okay, so here you can go ahead and sign up an account. Then you fill in these details. I've already done so. When you have finished, you click create. Okay, now for us to create our application on Heroku platform, we need to just go here where there is new. You click new, and we create an app. Okay, if we are in Heroku, but we can also do it through the terminal. Okay, but for simplicity, you can just go to your website, and then click create. And we can give our app name as blog. Okay, we can just give our blog name as SPT blog, and as follows here. Okay, so when that is done, you can click create. Here we can add different resources to our application, like databases, changing our SQLite to Postgres. We'll have to add an add-on here. We can view the metrics of our application, and also we can also view the activities. Okay, every time we deploy, if we get an error, all the logs will be shortlisted here. And here we have the settings where we'll need to configure to add some environmental variables for our application. Okay, and here we can get our URL for application, which is this one. So you come here, copy this URL. We can just come here and then paste our URL right there, then save. And now we can go ahead and add our Heroku Git to our different PCs. Now for us to be able to install Heroku on our system, firstly, on Mac, you'll have to run this command here, brew tap Heroku / brew. Then this command will install Heroku onto our Mac systems. Okay, and one thing to note here is you need to have the latest command line tools installed on your Mac. For example, if you already have Xcode installed, you need to update it to the latest, minimally like 13.0. okay, Xcode 13 should be installed, and 0.2 actually, command line tool should be installed on your machine. Okay, otherwise this command won't install Heroku onto your system. Alright, you run this, so we'll wait for this to install. Then after it is done, run Heroku login to log into your Heroku account. For those on Windows, in order to install Heroku on Windows, you need to run this URL into your browser, and this will run and download for you the latest version of Heroku CLI tool. So if that one downloads, then you can navigate to the folder and click on it to be able to install. Then we can head to our terminal, and then here we can just simply type in Heroku login, okay, like so. So we need to be able to log into our terminal, okay. Actually, before we do that, let's navigate to our project. So cd, that is my project directory there. Yeah, then we can change our blog like so. Okay, so we are in our blog directory. Then we can just Heroku login like so. Okay, so there's a press any key. All right, so this command will redirect us into our browser to be able to log in, okay. All right, so here there's a login to your Heroku CLI. You click login. We'll select my password like so. Good, you are logged in. The second thing we need to do is to navigate to our project and see how we can change our SQLite database configuration to Postgres in production. Okay. So for us to be able to change, to configure our application to use Postgres database on production, we need to firstly install Postgres packages into our application. Okay, so to do so, we can just simply go back to our terminal, and inside on our terminal we'll just run npm. So it is supposed to be npm. Actually, you can even run yarn add pg connection string like so, and say save. So instead of install, we do add, okay. Then you click enter. Okay, now our package is successfully installed. So now what we can do, we can run another command, which is still yarn add pg like so, then still save. Okay, click that. We're going to see how how to use these packages in configuring our application for production. All right, so we have successfully installed those two packages, so we can head back to our application. One thing we need to do is get ourselves a database URL for Postgres. So to do so, we'll need to go to Heroku and add a database to our Heroku application, which we can then use to configure our our database for production. Okay, to do so, we'll head to Heroku. So inside here, our application, we can then go to resource. So I told you this option enables us to add different resources, like for example, database to our application. Okay. So here we'll just type in Postgres, we'll use this one, which is free. So we'll choose this for this tutorial, then you submit like so. So this will add for us a database to our application. Now to get this database URL, we can just go to settings and then we go to reveal config paths. Then here we have our database. We'll just copy this to our environment variables. Okay. Save. And if we are planning to use this database locally, we can still copy that URL and reference it right here. Okay. So if that is done, then we can come back to our application. Here, we are going to edit this method to be able to return different database connections. Let's say now we want for production. We'll create an if statement. First put null for now. Then if that is not true, then we can return this. Okay. Yeah, so here what we are basically saying that if our node environment equals production, that means that we are in production mode. So we will execute these settings right here. Otherwise, if our node environment equals development, then we'll use our default SQLite database locally. Okay. So what we need to do here is return an object config will equal to, firstly we'll create const. We'll require pg connection string dot pass. Then here we can define our another const, config environment, it will be process dot mv database URL. Okay, so here we have access to our parameters in our URL. First of all, what we are going to access is the host. So we'll define here our host will be config So here we have configured our database for Postgres. Okay. And this is the default settings for the development environment. We'll leave it at this. And when we are in production, we'll be using this. All right. Now, another thing that we have forgot in our URL, in our condition here, is we need to specify our environment variable here. So we need to say env in bracket, then we put that, because we are checking for the environment variables to be either production or this. We can then go and see how we can load our project to Heroku. Okay, to do so, let's first go to our admin. And if we access our application right here, we see that when you go to deploy, we will run this command into our project directory. So first we need to change our directory into our projects directory. Then from there we can run this command. Okay. So if we go to our terminal, right here we find that we already changed our directory to, our blogs directory here. Okay, so now there we can run our git init. We initialize git here. Then after that we can then go back and see what command we need to execute. After initializing our git, then we can run this command to create ourselves a repository on Heroku. So can just say Heroku Alright, now that is done. We have been presented with a Heroku Git repository URL, which is this. So this is where we are going to upload our project. Okay. So we can go ahead and let's, I think, git add, and then we can commit git commit sorry, this is AM, so we need to specify that there. Then after that we can just run that to add our project. Then our commit to the repository, we just need to say git push Heroku master, like that. Then run that command. Alright, now our application has finished, but then has finished with errors. We are getting some errors here. The error is saying could not load JS config file. So let's see what exactly is happening here. If we execute, I executed Heroku logs, and we see that the log tells us to check our output at the application. So let's go to our Heroku dashboard, and then from here let's try to access activities. We have the build which has failed, so we can just cross check that one. saying that Strapi build, this command failed and could not load JS configuration at server.js, invalid left-hand side in assignment. Okay, so let's go and see our configuration. Here we see that we're exporting our module.export equals environment. We have an error here. Sorry, we missed that, so I missed that. Sorry about that. Then you end our method right there. Okay, I think with that we should be able to upload. So the same thing, git add, it is git add, then git commit am new Strapi updates. Okay. We can just commit those two files that we have updated, and then let's run git push Heroku. Okay, let's try to push again. Alright, now our application has successfully finished deploying to Heroku. So let's go and check our dashboard. If we come back and check on the settings, we see that we have, okay, let's try to check our URL at Heroku. Oops, we are presented with an error. Why so? Let's log and see what is happening. Say Heroku. Let's try to log to see what is happening. Actually, it is logs, not log. Sorry. We are having here no pg config entry, database no encryption. Let's try to check our configuration and see. So we'll just go back to our project here, and then if we look closely, this security reject this SSL is not being called since we have closed our connection here, so it needs to be in the connection. Sorry about that. So we can close it right here. Okay, and then we should call our debug just right after our connection here. That's why I need to call our debug. Yep, I think that should be able to solve our problem. Okay, so So now in our browser right here, Let's refresh and see. Still we are getting the same error. Let's console log and see what we are experiencing again. Clear. Now let's run still this command to check the logs. Okay. Just right here, the server wasn't able to start properly. Middleware strap, and please set the keys. So we have been required to set the keys here in config server. Okay, so what we are going to do for a quick fix for this, let's go to our config verse. Then from here, let's head to our project, and then let's come here and just copy these keys directly like so. So we'll copy these application keys, and then let's get all this at once. Let's grab also the JWT secret. This is used for authenticating the users. So let's grab also this key like so. Okay, add that one. Let's see if we are missing any. Our URL is there. The keys, we have added them. I believe this should fix our issue. So if we refresh, project should load. Wow, good. So I think adding them directly here into the console was the ideal idea. Okay.